Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain, my pronouns are she, her, and I am your GM for this adventure. With me are my very confused and worried heroes for this campaign. Why don't you all introduce yourselves?
Hi there, I'm Alice. I play Desdemona Hartwood. Both of us use she and they pronouns. Des is a gothy, punky, magical girl with a heart of pink, some new wings, and she is furiously texting Eliza about her upcoming birthday that she didn't tell Des about.
My name is Skylin. My pronouns are they and them. I play Kris Whitlock, whose pronouns are she or any. Kris is our extremely sporty, magical not a girl who is our firebrand artillery. And Kris is trying to understand what's going on.
And I am Rob. My pronouns are he, him. I play Eliza, whose pronouns are she, her. Eliza is our fiery, stalwart soul warrior magical girl who is not checking her phone right now and doesn't even know it's buzzing that intensely.
Yeah, because last time you were recovering from a quite nasty fight against the rider and grappling with the fact that you apparently seem to be good friends with someone you don't remember, and you had all spent some time dealing with that. But also at the same time, it came to Dez's attention that Eliza's birthday is coming up. So, what are the texts appearing on Eliza's phone right now?
There's going to be a bunch of separate texts. So when I pause, these are for like individual texts here. But we see the first text come in. Eliza, bitch, why am I only finding out now that it's your birthday in a few days? And finally she goes, as penance for not telling me, you're going to come over on your birthday and we're going to plan your birthday party so that I have enough time to actually plan your birthday party. And then Des would immediately open up a brand new group chat that only excludes, well, obviously it excludes Eliza. I don't know if it would include Kris. They're in the main group chat.
Yeah, so Kris, as you're waiting for Jesse to arrive, you see these texts start to appear on your phone.
Kris watches those texts come in. Bzz, 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 and reads each of them. I think she's just sitting on the stoop of the volleyball house right now. And she reads them because she can't not. As soon as you look at it, you've basically read it. And she takes a second and scrolls idly back just to see.
There's quite a text history in this group chat.
Yeah.
Apparently, you've been meeting together on a regular basis, including last night, which explains why your car was there.
Thank fuck for that. That's at least an explanation. Fuck. Were those two my team at some point?
Here's a question. Who created this group chat?
I think Eliza, right?
Yep.
Pretty sure Eliza did.
Yeah.
Eliza, what did you name this group chat?
It is definitely named Pancake Squad.
Apparently, you are part of the Pancake Squad.
Kris thinks back to Eliza saying that she and Desdemona had a thing where they go get pancakes afterwards, and well, shit.
It's not too much long after that Jesse pulls up.
Around then, a text arrives from Eliza, and it says, "Oh, I don't make a big deal out of my birthday. Do you want to do like a Halloween party instead?"
Des immediately, bitch.
Literally, I think there's a period of time where you see Desdemona is typing, and this lasts for a while
Uh-oh.
until finally you get a response that says, "Yeah, that sounds good. Come over on your birthday, and we'll plan the Halloween party."
Eliza just sends back a selfie of her holding the fencing foil, because I think this is happening between rounds with her teaching Hazel. But Eliza is wearing, instead of proper a fencing mask or anything, a pair of those extremely 2007 sunglasses with like the plastic slats instead of lenses, and they're bright red. And she just says, "Kick ass."
There's no way those are gonna protect you.
Mm-mm, not at all.
So yes, in addition to all of this, Desdemona opens up a separate group chat with all of the members of Pancake Squad except for Eliza, and I think she's a little freaked by it since she didn't exactly take Hazel's whole deal very well. But she does bring Kris in on it to say, "Okay, I'm going to be hosting a surprise birthday party for Eliza on her birthday. You see the main chat. We're planning a Halloween party. um, uh, you all can show up. Obviously before she does. I'm still planning it. Give me more time, and I will tell you what, if anything, I need you to bring." Um, and then she swaps back to the main chat to say, "By the way, I have a curfew."
You sure you don't want to move in with me? I have an empty room now that Hazel and Kris aren't in it.
Yes, I'm sure. I will keep it in mind.
I can move Nisa's litter box if that's the problem.
I think she just sends back like a laughing emoji.
Kris puts her phone away, puts it on silent. Hey, Jesse.
Hey. Usual place?
Yeah.
They start to drive. Give you a quick look. They don't say anything at first.
We have a whole ass text history, Jesse. If I took all that to be true, then these two were my team at some point. How? It's my job to take care of my team. How am I supposed to do that if I don't remember? I keep trying, Jesse, it's just not there.
Okay. Let's work through this. They're very clearly thinking, trying to figure out what to say.
I have a ton of evidence that is admittedly very hard to fake. And no memory of any of it.
Did you, like, take a hit to the head or anything? Actually, you'd probably know better than I do if that's a thing that can happen.
It's definitely possible. Those monsters are not nice about it, shall we say. And Kris kind of looks out the window, thinking, GM, how much does she remember about that last fight?
Thinking back, you remember you were collecting powder with some of the soldiers, and the rider caught you out. you fought, and that's kind of a blur. There was a lot of running and throwing rocks and getting caught and running again. And you remember the feeling of getting pummeled. You remember falling to the ground. You remember monsters coming out of the forest on top of you. You remember claws tearing into you, but not into your flesh, but into something else. And the next thing you remember is waking up in that gully with Eliza holding you.
Kris slowly folds in on themselves, knees to chest, head down. There was a hell of a fight. I don't want to talk about it, Jesse.
Okay.
But something got me.
Have you talked to them about it?
The other two?
Yeah, you're a team.
I didn't know they were my team until 10 minutes ago. So no.
Do you think that might be a place to start?
Maybe.
What does that mean?
It means I'm fucking scared, Jesse. And I don't know who to trust anymore.
Do you trust me?
She nods.
Well, that's a start. Hey, we're here.
Okay. Okay. Earth beneath my hands. Beneath my feet. Forest so vast and so small at the same time. I'm gonna climb as far as I can and give you as many details of the moss down below as possible.
Sounds good. I'll race you.
Kris wipes her eyes and sprints.
And Jesse follows.
Wolf sprint.
That's a 9 on the dice. Plus 1 is 10.
Yep. You are able to get to the top with a healthy lead over Jesse. I think you are already narrating what you see by the time that they climb up to the ledge to join you.
Oh, absolutely. She's picking out every tiny detail that she can with her hawk's eyes.
Well, you haven't lost your touch.
I thought marching band would have you in better shape for this, Jesse. Maybe it's more endurance than speed.
Yeah, a little bit. Pulls himself up onto the ledge and kind of rolls. I'm just gonna lay here. How are you so fast?
Kris pushes their shoulder gently. You know the answer to that. It's my gay audacity. She's grinning widely.
Always.
She takes a moment and slows down. And as she's looking over the forest, she points out a nest that has long since been abandoned. She points out the down feathers that are still stuck in the twigs from when the chicks would have taken their first flight. She points out the squirrels that run up and down and around it, and the smaller creepy crawlies that are now inhabiting it. It's nice.
You consistently amaze me, Kris Whitlock.
Kris doesn't have a good answer for that, so she smiles softly and gives Jessie a quick, small kiss on the temple.
Maybe you need to give one of those to your team.
Oh, I already did that. That was...
Well, you're ahead of the curve then.
I don't know why I did it, Jessie. It felt like muscle memory.
Is that why you were saying you didn't want to risk your body doing things you couldn't account for?
Kris sort of curls into Jessie and nods.
Jessie wraps an arm around you and pulls you in.
I don't know if I can trust myself anymore, Jessie. She sort of turns to look up. Do you think I can trust them?
Sounds like you made that decision once already. What scares you about that?
It is a long time before Kris answers. You hold me softly. You've done that from day one. Even when we were getting in trouble. You have always accepted my affection in any form, and my audacity and all of my bullshit. Sure, you call me on it, but you're an armchair, Jessie. You're a soft place to land. I don't know if they are. And I don't know how to know.
It sounds like you trusted them once before.
Not. If I did, it probably wasn't like that.
Why not?
There aren't very many people like you, Jessie. Do you know how long it took to get Volleyball House to be comfortable with smooches and touching and me saying I love you? I handpicked everybody in that house because they were the people who were most comfortable with it. And still, people either don't want that kind of love or assume that it's something more. Kris idly picks up a small blade of grass and rolls it between her fingers.
Do you think the you that decided to trust them might have been scared?
Am I supposed to know that? Or is this one of your thought experiments?
Smile. It's a thought experiment.
Okay. Let's say they were.
And you have evidence that that trust happened anyway.
I have evidence that we were a team. I don't have evidence that they are capable of holding my heart without dropping it or squeezing too hard. Kris picks up a broken piece of eggshell that must be months and months and months old at this point. It's got a lot of dirt on it, and it was half covered by moss and leaf litter. She pinches the two edges until it cracks. Then she puts it down again. I have evidence I was willing to trust them with my safety.
And you were willing to trust at least one of them enough to have her live in the same house.
Yeah.
Not saying you have to lay everything out, but maybe trust them enough to trust them.
Kris leans into Jesse again, and I'll try. But you'll be the first to hear if they crush me like a baby bird.
I will burn down their house.
I love you, Jesse.
Love you too, Whitlock. So, Kris, I know for a fact that you have more than 5 stressing convictions, so I assume you want to clear that.
Yes. Yes, I would like to do so. And I presume the climbing was our risky activity.
Indeed. So, my question to you, as you are writing down your experience, what is it that you reflect on that helps you grow as a person in this moment?
I think this time it's Jesse's suggestion to trust that somebody might be trustworthy that rings true. And she decides that she's going to give these 4 a chance, not just with what apparently her former self had trusted them with, but with more of her heart as well.
I like that. And you gain that as an experience. Do you want to spend it now or do you want to bank it?
We will be banking.
All right. So, Desdemona,
Yes.
what are you up to?
Well, Des is texting a not insignificant percentage of the population of the town to try and arrange things and bring in friends of Eliza's and friends of Desdemona's that she thinks Eliza might get along with. So she's definitely texting all the people that she knows Eliza is friends with and inviting them. I think she's also inviting the punks from the warehouse because I think she'll get a kick out of that, and I think Des does too. um, aside from that, is Eliza particularly close to her coworkers at the diner?
Of her coworkers, the one that she's on best terms with is Tesserae, who is a fellow server, and that's one that usually takes care of the group when they come and Eliza's not serving. So yeah,
Gotcha.
Des
Okay.
would probably know her.
Right. So she'd invite her. You mentioned Hazel and her band. Obviously, all of the Pancake Squad is
Of course,
invited. And you mentioned how big is the Magic the Gathering group that?
it's probably like 4 people, maybe 5.
Okay, yeah, then easy. I don't know how Des got those numbers, but she definitely did.
Well, Des knows a lot of people in town.
I feel like you
Uh,
should be rolling for I know a guy for this.
I think Des actually already. I think Des may have been the one to introduce Eliza to this group.
Maybe, yeah, that's entirely possible.
Either way, so yeah, she's curating the guest list, and coordinating with her dad to get some food and decorations and a cake. I think Desdemona is like, I know what Eliza wants, and specifically has her dad get a ton of like junk food that passes as food for Eliza.
Oh no.
So whatever Eliza's favorite like, oh yeah, this is my dinner food. Whatever that entails, I think Des is getting a good amount of that, and
Are
the
we
cake.
sure we want to go with Kraft mac and cheese and not like make some at home? I can do that.
Dad, I know you can make mac and cheese. Sorry, Eliza's she doesn't eat much real food. Uh, she'll prefer this. I
Hmm.
love your mac and cheese, Dad, but this for Eliza. I'm also now picturing like Des walking out in the party with just like a pot of mac and cheese for Eliza to eat. Ah, the perfect party food.
And do you know what kind of cake she likes?
That's a good question. Des texts Tesserae to ask what Eliza's favorite flavor of cake or pie is.
Tesserae would quickly text back that Eliza's once mentioned really liking vanilla white cake,
Oh, okay.
and also one time ate entirely too many brownies. That was a situation.
um, okay, this is all extremely useful information. In addition to all the other bad junk food, brownies.
Tesserae volunteers to bring the brownies.
Oh, perfect. Then Des looks back up from her phone to her dad and goes, looks like basic white cake for Eliza, which honestly it does track. Let's just go with something simple,
Cool, we can do that.
right? In addition to the food situation, she gets a bunch of like streamers exclusively for the inside because she wants Eliza to be surprised, and gets red, yellow, and orange streamers to put up everywhere, which
Excellent.
is very easy because it's around Halloween time, but is unrelated to Halloween.
Indeed. You actually conveniently, your family actually has a pool house
Oh.
on
Whoa.
your property, and while the pool has been closed because trying to keep the leaves out of that would be awful,
In winter.
Yeah, at the
Or
tail end
fall?
of October. It is actually a nice open space with there's a pool table, there's a foosball table, there's a couple other things, there's some places to sit. There's like a counter, there's like a bar with some stools on the side that you're planning to put all the food on. It's a great place to entertain people with.
Excellent.
And it is actually heated, so you can use it even as it's cooling off.
Okay. Wow. Des has a nice house. Okay, yeah,
I mean,
then
you have a lawyer and a lobbyist for parents.
it's a good point. Okay, regardless. So yes, I think Des sets everything up in the pool house, and the plan is to like lead Eliza back there. Make it easy on everyone, so we're not constantly watching the front door kind of thing. Um, but yeah, a bunch of decorations. And are we gonna jump to day of, or you want to wait a little bit?
Did you want to spend some time with your dad?
Yes. I was okay. So I was kind of thinking that planning the party would be my taking time with my confidant to clear stress and conviction, if that works for you.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. As you're doing that, what are you thinking about that really sticks with you and helps you grow as a person?
Gosh, that is a very good question. Uh, I think the experience comes from her working with her dad and kind of seeing the ways in which he cares about her, and also the ways in which that's sort of reflected in how she cares about her friends, and in spending the time to care about someone. Uh, she cares about lots of people, but to care about a close friend and to put in a lot of effort to make them happy.
Yeah. So go ahead and write that down. I believe both, right now, both Kris and Des have 3 experiences, yes? And Eliza should only have 2 at the moment?
Yeah, so Eliza started with Soar, and she picked up Storm, and last time she gained experience, she picked up +1 to Silver Tongue.
Well, I'm asking, I genuinely am not kidding when I say please write your experiences down.
Yeah, Kris has 4 XP collected now.
Okay, that's why I'm asking. How
Does that
about
increase her
Des?
stress cap yet?
It does. It's every 2.
Oh, Eliza's behind the other 2 because she didn't get beat up last episode.
Yep.
Speaking of getting beat up last fight, I think now is a good time to mention a little bit about what happens when your character hits their stress cap.
Ah, yes. Well, the way that this system handles that is a state called downed. Essentially, you've been knocked out of the fight or the scene or whatever was going on at the time. You cannot contribute meaningfully. This doesn't mean you're dead. It might not even mean you're unconscious. It just means that you cannot meaningfully contribute. Now, downed characters can still try to help. That's the only action that they can take except for breaking point actions. But otherwise, they're just unable to assist meaningfully until they clear all that stress, and then they're back to normal.
Dang, Rain, I can't believe you killed us. That's so crazy that you killed 2 player characters in one combat session.
Yeah, I'm really unforgiving. You got to go back to that last point of grace.
Mm.
What's really nice about this system is that because your characters don't die without your permission, you can put them through a lot of punishment.
Yeah, it's a great alternative to the like going down and potentially dying system. Because I mean, also that's not really what magical girl stories are about.
Yeah, not really.
I enjoy the getting downed and possibly dying mechanic for its own reasons, but I also really love the your character can't die without your permission.
Yeah.
And you get to tell that there's a little bit of agency that's added there, I think, by the system rather than having it have to be on the GM's shoulder.
Yeah. So, Eliza,
Mhm.
what are you doing in this time?
Let's do a bit of Eliza and Faith and Hazel at Eliza's place doing the fencing stuff. How's that sound?
That sounds good. So, the two of you are, I assume, in the parking lot or somewhere with a little bit of space to move?
There's a little park setup in the. No, actually, it's not that nice of an apartment complex. Yeah, we're in the parking lot. And Eliza, I'm assuming Faith is watching this, unless we've already given her a ride home. Can't tell.
I think she's gonna get a ride home after this. Yeah, she's watching you too.
Okay, so Eliza has her fencing foil, and she's probably dug out the actual fencing masks at this point.
Yeah, Hazel refused to spar with you with those glasses on.
Yeah, that was a joke picture. Eliza is taking Hazel through the fundamentals, and I think she's saying fencing is at the same time very similar to and very different from real fighting. Fencing is what happens when you spend centuries refining an art based on combat, but it's not real fighting anymore. It teaches a lot of the important muscle movements and trains those muscles and gives you the good solid foundation for fighting with an appropriate sword for what we're using. This is saber style fencing, which matches closely with the sword that I use when I'm all. She just kind of gestures to herself, even though she's not in her outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So, the difference between this and other fencing is that you're allowed to strike with the edge along with just the point. But more important than understanding the exact rules of fencing is understanding what both fencing and fighting are about, and that is control. Have you ever, aside from what I've seen you do, Hazel, have you ever been in a real fight?
A couple of times against those monsters, but other than that, not really.
So, your average fight, a fist fight or a barroom brawl or whatever, it's just it's chaos. It's people trying stuff who don't know what they're doing for the most part and don't have a plan. Fencing is about stamping order and authority on that fight. You are here to take control, put yourself in a position where the other person is at a disadvantage because they don't know what you're doing. And that is what you actually need to learn from fencing.
Okay.
So, let me just take you through some basic footwork. Right, where you place your feet is very important because everything flows up from that. And an important thing, your feet never cross each other. It's more of a shuffle. That, if when your feet cross each other, that puts you off balance, vulnerable, and in a position where it's easy to get you.
Okay, so kind of like this.
Yeah, here. And like this.
And as you're explaining, why don't you go ahead and, since we've established finding patterns is what you use to fence, what kind of friendship do you have with Hazel right now?
We are currently classed as friends.
Okay, do you want to make a building friendship roll with Hazel using finding patterns?
Sure. As long as I'm also still allowed to do the thing I planned earlier.
Since this is my idea, I'll give it to you for free.
Okay. So, rolling with. Ooh. Well, I rolled a 4 plus 2 is 6. I have a question.
Yes?
Eliza still has an unspent point of courage from back when we were in the Gray. Can I use it on this so I don't sour the friendship with Hazel?
Well, there's two elements to this. One is that it doesn't immediately sour things since you haven't failed a roll with Hazel before.
Oh, okay.
You have to do that twice in a row.
I see.
The other is that courage does expire at the end of the session,
All right.
but I am feeling generous. I like to tilt things in my players' favor, so yes, you can.
All right. So that means upgrades to a 3 and 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9. So, yes.
Okay, so you now become confidants. How does it nearly go wrong?
I think we get a point where later on during the actual fencing process, Hazel actually gets a leg up on Eliza. And there's a brief moment when Eliza's instincts kick in. She's been holding back and moving slower than she normally would for the sake of teaching Hazel this, because moving at full speed won't actually work. But in this moment, when Hazel does get an advantage over her, instincts kick in and Eliza suddenly moves at full speed. She beats Hazel's blade out of the way and then gets a quick stab in, and the foil bends slightly as it presses right against Hazel's stab wound from earlier.
Ah, fuck.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give me a second. Ah.
Huh.
Fuck. She throws the foil on the ground and just kind of walks away for a second holding that. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm good. She picks the sword up.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Eliza shakes her head after a moment. It's not. Hazel, I need to tell you something.
Hmm?
Do you remember the fight where you got stabbed?
Yeah?
Do you remember that none of the hostiles had swords? And the only sword there was mine?
I was wondering.
I was trying to get you back out of it, and I stabbed too hard and stabbed too deep, and I'm sorry.
It's fine. I don't hold it against you. You were trying to help.
Okay. Whew.
Let me just try and catch up with you, okay?
Okay.
I'm not gonna do much good if I don't know how to help.
I know you want to fight, but you know we still can't bring you into the gray, right?
She kind of gives you a long look.
You can't take the kind of beatings that Des and I guess Kris took.
Well, clearly you can't either.
The thing is, they're already back on their feet, and I don't think a normal person would be. And Hazel, you're too important to me to let this happen again.
And you don't think I feel the same way about all of you? You all need help. You know you can't do this without some kind of help. And Faith's certainly not gonna do it. No offense. And Faith's just, none taken. And like, Faith can't fight. And I'm perfectly willing to, so I don't see another option here. I'm not gonna let someone else get hurt.
All right. Will you wait until I think you're ready?
Fine. As long as you don't get your ass kicked in the meantime.
I mean, listen. The other two, they're still new at this. When Kris tried to take that guy on his own, I don't think she stood a chance. Me? Maybe I could. I feel like I could handle him. All three of us together, we can take him. But we need a reason to come back afterward. And Eliza steps
Don't.
forward and lays a hand on Hazel's shoulder.
Don't lay that on me. I
Okay.
know where you're going with that.
Well, yeah, I'm predictable.
Not with a sword, you're not.
Yeah, but when it comes to what I'm saying, I mean, you knew where I was going with that the moment I started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we need to get Faith back home.
Did everybody forget we're going out for lunch, or?
Well, I haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah. I think Kris might be in a situation, and I don't know what happened to Des. I think Des has a curfew now. I think she's grounded or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna make fighting evil difficult.
We'll work on it.
There is a buzz in the Pancake Squad chat.
I want it noted I just looked at my empty hand as if it had a phone in it.
You were looking at Eliza's phone. What's the question?
Yeah.
Well, on Eliza's phone, there is a text message from Kris Whitlock that is a pancake emoji with a question mark.
Eliza sends back 3 pancake emojis. Faith? Hazel? I can give you a ride home after lunch.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
I wonder if Des is coming.
You get a ping from the Pancake Squad chat that's just like a combination of pancakes and every crying emoji, because it's too late for her to leave the house.
Oh no.
And I think as you all start to head out for pancakes, sans the person who is most enthusiastic about it, I think that's a good place for us to wrap up for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and thank you so much to my players, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.